Hello, everyone. Good to be with you. I am sorry it has been so long. So much shit has happened. Good stuff, mostly bad stuff, but 'tis life. But anyway, I'm here. I'm back. I've got some good stuff for you. I've collected a few questions, and I want to apologize. I have my laptop set up as I always use, and I actually invested in an expensive and nice camera, and it looks way better than how this looks. My battery was dead from not using it, and I don't have the right plug for my microphone. So, anyway, we're still with the laptop, but I promise the next time you see a video, it'll look all professional and it won't have this weird color change. Everyone always thinks that's like some sort of psychic phenomena or something. No, it's just my shitty laptop, is all it is. Okay, let's get into your questions. We have some really great questions today. Yeah, and most of these I paraphrase a little bit, I shorten, but you'll get the gist of which one is your question. All right. So, the first question is I had channeled in a video, I'm not sure which one it was, and someone asked, what is it like for me when I'm channeling? What do I go through, and what does it look like to me when I look back and see the footage of myself channeling? That's a great question. Now, this is going to be unique to each person depending on what type of channeling they do. I am a conscious channel, which means I'm completely awake and I can see something going by the screen, and I can't tell you if it's probably just dust, really, to be honest with you. Anyway, I'm a conscious channel, which means I'm completely awake and alert and aware of what's going on when I am channeling another being. Having said that, there is part of you that needs to sort of step out of the way so the being can speak through you, okay? And always the divine, always a highly evolved being of the light. That's the only type of beings you should be channeling, and you should be taught how to channel. That's my own personal opinion, so you know how to safely do it. Okay. So even though you need to be able to step to the side a little bit and allow the being to speak through you, I can still hear everything that's going on, and I am completely in control. You are always in control when you channel. The type of channelings where you're sort of taken over by the being and maybe even move as them and what have you, which even can happen to me. It's not that those don't happen anymore. There are people who do trance channeling, which is where you really step out of the way and let the being use your body to speak and communicate. The divine don't tend to do that deep of channeling for people anymore. And the reason for that, and I'm saying not at all, because don't be typing under here and saying, yeah, I know somebody that does it. Yes, there are still people that do it, but it is not being taught as much from the divine, because the divine want you feeling one with them because you are one with them. They do not want you feeling like you can be taken over by this outside being. Okay, so conscious channeling, or forms of that, or degrees of that, I should say, is commonly what's done today, and that's one of the things I do. So even though I'm fully listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth just as much as you are, there is an element of me that sort of, since I'm allowing the being to speak, I'm trying not to utilize my mind, because if I utilize my mind, it will get involved and interrupt the channeling session. So when I play back the footage, even though I knew most of what the being was saying through me, I get the gist of what the being was getting at. Some of it is a surprise to me to some extent, even though I was fully aware and awake for the whole thing. That's how I can tell when I've done a really good job at allowing the angel or guide to speak through me, because when I watch it, I'll go, oh, I didn't know I was making that face. I didn't know I was using my hands in that way. And I didn't know that the personality of the being I was channeling was coming through so much. So yeah, it can be a little bit of a surprise, or I might, even though I know what the being said, I might say, oh, I didn't realize it said it the way it said it in that whole long sentence. So yeah, a little bit of it's a surprise, but generally I'm aware of what's going on. Absolutely. This person asked, is it possible to help a spirit cross over in a dream? Yeah, anything's possible. Is that what actually happened? In your situation, I'm not sure. I would have to do a reading with you and look into what happened. It's possible that what was actually going on in your dream is that angels and spirit guides are the one helping that spirit cross over, and they were communicating to you through the dream about this happening. It also could be very, very symbolic and not actually what was going on in the dream, especially if you were not lucid in the dream. Okay, but is it possible? Sure. You'll get used to, in this work, anything's possible, really. When I receive info, is it my spirit guides telling me the information or my higher self? That's a great question. And it is both. Okay. Even though we separate angels, spirit guides, our higher self, really, and this is trippy, we're all one and the same. Okay. We have a tendency as humans to want to separate them, and they don't mind that we do it because, we're trying to understand things, and it's easier to say this is an ascended master, this is a spirit guide, but really they're all working as a team. A lot of times what happens is you have many channels that come in to receive information in different ways, and I don't mean just like clairaudience, clairvoyance. You have many channels. You have an angel channel, a spirit guide channel, on and on. And the information comes from God, source, through your spirit guides, through your higher self to you. That's usually the way it all comes in. Okay, so everyone is being utilized when you're receiving information. I get asked this so much, and I'm going to scold some of you a little bit here. I get asked a lot about the buzzing of your ears, especially when your clairaudience is trying to wake up. You will get ringing, buzzing, vibrating in your ears. Very, very normal. I have answered this numerous times in videos. So I want to say, if you have a question, do me a favor and go through and watch the videos, because I bet you there's a good chance I have answered the question in another video, okay? But I'm happy to do it again. I'll do it one more time for the ear buzzing thing, all right? So, when your clairaudience is learning or adapting to higher frequencies, you will receive pressure, a fullness in your ear, a ringing, a buzzing, or all of them, okay? And what's going on is that even though most of your clairaudience comes in through the throat chakra, there is an element of your ears that is being utilized. We always think clairaudience hearing, and yes, I refer to it that way too. Most clairaudience comes in through your throat chakra. I know that's kind of weird, but that's how it works. So, for the part of your ear that is actually being used, it is attuning to the higher frequencies. So what happens is that the divine vibrate at a much higher frequency and a much faster rate. And that's why generally in our everyday life, we don't walk around hearing the divine, okay? Your body needs to adjust to that faster rate. So as you are honing your abilities, as your clairaudience is cracking open, as you are up-leveling, basically in your spirituality, your body will get used to that. Now, for a lot of people, that goes away. As you up-level, as your body attunes to those higher frequencies, you won't hear the buzzing and ringing. Now, I sometimes do once in a blue moon, I'll get sort of this high-pitched noise, and it comes and goes. It's very transient. But when it's first happening, it can be actually very annoying. And some people I know experience it all day long. In that case, I want to tell you it will pass. Okay, it will pass. So don't get too worried about it. If someone's really wonky with your hearing, just go to the doctor and have it checked out. But if you know it's your clairaudience, it will pass. And even communicate with your spirit guides. Tell them, you guys need to slow down a little bit. This is really hurting my ears. And they are happy to do so. Sometimes your spirit guides get so excited that you have started this journey because they've been waiting a long ass time for you to get going on it. Sometimes lifetimes, all right? So once you do get going, they're like, oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. And what happens is you can have negative spiritual awakening symptoms. Hopefully there's something annoying like the ringing in your ear, but sometimes they can be, if you Google spiritual awakening symptoms, you'll see it's a whole host of shit that can go weird and get very severe, but ringing in your ears isn't too bad. But anyway, talk to them. Just tell them, it's bothering me. I need you to tone it down a little bit, and they're happy to do so. Okay. The next question I have is everyone a psychic or medium, or is it more of a gift that needs strengthened? What I want to say is that everyone has intuition. Every single person, whether you use it or not, whether you believe in it or not, every person is given intuition, okay? And they can learn to tap into that and strengthen that. And my wish is that for everyone in the world that you do. Okay, we all have spirit guides, we all can talk to our spirit guides, and we all can tap into our intuition. Now, does that mean you are meant to be a psychic or medium? No. And there's people that will argue with me on this. They'll say, I can teach anyone to be a medium. I don't agree with that. I think it's just like I wasn't meant to be a doctor or other things. My agreement, my path was to be a medium. And a part of me chose to pursue it once I realized I was. We have free will. You do have a choice. I could have been like, hell no, I ain't doing it, right? So I think that's what I want to clear up a little bit. Are you an intuitive being? Can you learn to strengthen your own intuition? Yes. Does that mean you are a psychic or medium? No. That is different for everyone, and usually if you are meant to be one of those, you've had a host of things going on that are pushing you and steering you in that direction. So I got to separate those a little bit. Everyone's intuitive, not everyone's meant to be a medium, okay? And I think that's what makes for like bad psychics and mediums sometimes. I think that there's people out there, and I'm probably going to get shit for this, but there's people out there saying, they can teach anyone to do this. And it's like, yeah, anyone can be taught how to strengthen their own intuition, but you're going to get a shitty medium if that person is not in alignment to be a medium. Okay. Just like you wouldn't want me operating on you no matter how much you taught me. Okay. Not that doctors and mediums are the same, but anyway. Okay. So how do you know if it's a negative being pretending to be an angel or guide? I'm going to try to keep this real short because I could get very detailed on this. Okay, so I'm taking a very big subject and I'm going to do this with it. One, you learn from practice. You learn from having a teacher. You learn from experience. You learn from having a mentor how to decipher between different entities. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, and this is the beauty of those, negative entities, is they just cannot behave, and they cannot mimic the light and the beautiful energy that comes off of a divine being. Okay, I have had beings, often actually, try to pretend to be a spirit guide that are not actually my spirit guide, try to be an angel, what have you. And the funny thing is, it's like if you're in front of another person and they're lying to you, they might be telling you whatever. But they sound truthful. The words coming out of their mouth sound right, but you're like getting a weird vibe from them, or they're kind of, twitching and, rubbing their nose, and all these things going on with them are telling you they're lying. Like their actions don't match their words. Well, that's the same way with these beings. Their energy does not feel like what's coming out of their mouth. A lot of times they feel icky. Your body will pick up on like that the energy's off with them. A lot of times when you're around a divine being, they give off warmth and you feel love. When you're around a negative being, it feels the complete opposite. The hairs on your neck stand up, or you feel a pit in your stomach, or you feel low and depressed energy around you. They just cannot mimic. They can lie. They can say they're a light being, but they cannot mimic the energy. Energy does not lie, and that is one thing that they cannot pretend. The other thing is that, I've dealt with these beings so much, sometimes every day I deal with them, and they, like I said, cannot behave for very long. They right away are pushy, which your spirit guides never are. Sometimes you even want them to be. Sometimes you're like, tell me what to do, damn it, tell me what to do. And they'll be like, well, what do you want to do? And a negative being will right away be trying to push you into something. They'll be bossy. They'll start talking down to you. They very much like to make you fearful. They get off on it. Where a light being will do anything they can to comfort you and make you feel better. So that's how you get to know that. Okay. Like I said, through education, through practice, and through your own intuition, your own clairsentience will let you know what type of being is what. Also, when you start taking better care of yourself, you hone your abilities, and you raise your vibration daily, those lower beings will not affect you as much as if your vibration is low. So the higher you raise your vibration, the less they come around, okay? I also want to say a lot of times we look at these negative entities as these big bad things that are going to get you. And is there some? Yeah. But generally they're sort of like mosquitoes. You're like, get away. God, annoying. They do serve a purpose. And if you're having a negative entity around you, or you notice you keep getting them around you, they're often a reflection of what is going on in your life, what you're allowing, the decisions you're making, the people you're hanging out with, how you're treating your body. They will reflect that. I know personally, when I start getting a lot of these negative entities around, I right away look at like, okay, what have I been doing? Drinking too much wine? Probably. Not taking care of myself physically, or letting my energy get drained and not replenishing it. And I'm like, and once I fix that, these beings go to the wayside. So look at it like that. Like, sometimes it's a sign of something going on with you. It's not like you got to do some major clearing, or you got to call someone in your house to sage it and all this stuff. I mean, that can be helpful, but generally it's a reflection of what's going on with you. Okay, so that's some food for thought. Also, I want to announce that this week, hopefully, I will be starting work on my next Vimeo video, which will be an introduction to meeting your spirit guides. This is one of my favorite classes I teach. After we strengthen your abilities, which hopefully you have been doing with the other 3 videos I have, you are then prepared to stand in front of your spirit guides. We have them line up, and you will be able to talk to them directly, and that can be crazy, just crazy good, because sometimes your spirit guides do not look like people. They can look like all kinds of things depending on where they come from. It's very exciting. So anyway, I'm going to start work on that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, please, and subscribe to my website so you can be updated with future availability. I thank you all very much for watching and for sending your questions. Much love to you, babes.